Jason Patton, welcome to
Hey man,
Monday Morning Productivity. How's it going?
I'm good, man. I'm doing very well.
Thanks for doing this. I mean, the whole point of you being here is that you are a productive agent.
Yeah,
At least that's how I see you. Is that fair?
yeah, yeah. That's fair. I mean, I've since I moved to Birmingham 4.5 years ago. I've been in the Real Trends top 300 every year. That Real Producers. I've been ranked in Real Trends for the last either 3 or 4 years. Yeah, I mean, I know what I'm doing. I sell a little bit of real estate.
Well, the other thing that I think is important in terms of your productivity is that you started in Tuscaloosa. That's where your
Mhm.
whole sphere is. I
Yep,
think you were selling over here a little bit, but then you had to basically come over
barely.
here and
Yeah,
rebuild your
yeah.
business from the ground up.
Yeah, I started from scratch because I didn't know anyone in Birmingham. I mean, I knew, let's call it 15 people. That's not going to build a real estate business in a town of, a city of, 1.2 million people. So I started from scratch. Yeah. But what I do, I've said for years too, what I do is replicatable through any city. You could pick me up and put me in Seattle, Washington in 6 months. I feel like my business will be at the same point it is now. Anyway,
That is such an important point because it's like if you take what I do, you take me, my systems and my processes, and you transplant me to another city, you can do it, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
this is how, and agents are. I haven't talked about this in a while, and I don't hang out with these folks as much as I used to. I used to be in Tom Ferry, and I would be hanging out with agents that were literally building real estate franchises. Primarily, this was back in the day. It was primarily Keller Williams that was doing this. Is that
yeah,
they were going and building little team franchises in the market centers all across the country. And
yeah,
then of course EXP and things came out and it just kind of took off from there. But it's such a good point, and it's something like, so I moved to Birmingham. I had invested in a real estate franchise. Real estate franchise turned out to suck a bunch of donkey dong.
hmm,
So I'm left with, quite candidly, a bunch of freaking debt from having to get out of that franchise agreement, which, like, don't sign a franchise agreement unless you are
yeah,
in for the long haul type thing. So
yeah,
I'm like, all right, what's the fastest way for me to dig myself out of this hole is to get my ass, start implementing everything I've been teaching over the last decade plus, and just show them that it works. But it's a weird thing. I mean, I think it'd be interesting before we get to the 5 questions, just to get your take on this, because the reason I like having guests on this show or on this productivity call is because they don't seem to listen to me as much as they listen to other people. So when I come on here and go,
right,
"Oh, I got a call from YouTube. I got a call from TikTok. Why aren't you guys
yeah,
producing content?" They just go, "He's full of shit," or whatever it
right.
is. I don't know.
Say all the time the barrier of entry into our world is way too low. Yeah, we have an 80% dropout rate for a reason. It's because it's not for everybody. It's not easy. And if it was, everybody would do it and more people would be more successful. It's not easy. It's simple. It's not easy.
Well, one last question for you, because we talked about like productivity and you're a system and processes guy and you're using video content.
Mhm.
All those things are really key. But would you say that you do you identify what's your disc profile? What are you identify as a
Mhm.
high I? Are you more
Yep.
introverted? What's
I am definitely not an introvert. I'm a high I with a second very high D. It's like a 1 and 1 A. I am definitely an extroverted extrovert. During the global pandemic, I jokingly said I just needed to go to the Atlanta airport and just kind of stand in the middle of it and just soak in people. Yeah, I'm a people person. I enjoy being in front of people, with people, around people, kind of thing. I don't need to be the center of attention in every group, and I don't mind if I am. I mean, I don't, I can speak in front of people. I've done, before I got into real estate, I had a retail business for 19 years. So I've done a lot of media appearances, radio, television, print. I was actually quoted in the New York Times one time. So, like, I've done a lot of media spots over the years, and I'm comfortable in front of a camera or in front of people. So I've done speaking things. I've spoken to multiple classes at the university when I was in Tuscaloosa. So, like, I just don't, it doesn't bother me to be in front of people, speaking in front of people. So,
Well, and just to give people a contrast, I'm kind of a homebody. I've, since I've been getting back into real estate sales, I've had to really force myself into I mean, I hate networking events. That's not my comfort zone. Going into places, I need to be around people where I'm comfortable, or I need to establish that comfortability before I kind of come out of my shell. So it just
Yeah.
kind of shows you, you don't have to be an extrovert's extrovert to be successful in
Right.
real estate, but it certainly does help. And then with me, you can change. You can give
Yeah.
yourself a kick in the ass and get out there and get more involved. All
Right.
right, let's get busy with the 5 questions. First question is, what do you feel like is the biggest flex of productive agents? For me, it would be like a lack of financial stress. But what say you?
Yeah, well, yeah, similar. I don't worry about where my next deal is coming from. I know it's there. I just have to turn the leaf over to find it. Like, I'm meeting with 2 separate sellers today down in Tuscaloosa, and these weren't even on my radar a week ago. I signed another listing Saturday down in Tuscaloosa. That wasn't on my radar 2.5 weeks ago. So it's kind of that. I've been very fortunate. I'm very listing heavy. So I don't run around showing a lot of buyers. I do work with some. It's not a zero sum thing for me. And I figured out years ago that I'm much better at the listing side. So that's where I focus my time and energy. So that kind of allows me to do other things to get in front of other people when I'm not having to show 14 houses in a day. I can go do something else and be in front of people.
This is something that we're focused on, or I'm focused on in terms of a training aspect, is encouraging agents to figure out what the hell it is they like about this business and what they're good at. Because we talked a little bit a second ago about, there's absolutely true that a lot of agents should not be in the business. There's a lot of people in
Yeah.
real estate that are here just to make an extra buck, and that does not lend itself to positive 5-star reviews for our industry as a whole. So it's really, really important. But I think a lot of those people could flip the script if they just self-reflected and figured out what they liked and didn't like about the business. Because if you don't like showing buyers, which a lot of people don't, if you keep showing buyers, you're going to burn out. Yeah,
I was a productivity coach when I was in Tuscaloosa for about 1.5 years. And it was so funny to me. I had a girl that she was a kind of an aspiring country music singer. So this girl was on stage with a guitar with her voice in front of 10,000 people one time, but she was deathly afraid to pick up the phone and call people. And that was just so, I still remember it. I'll never forget it because it's so weird to me that you can be that comfortable in front of 10,000 people, but you're deathly afraid to pick up the phone and call one person. So while I don't have that fear, I'm happy to pick up the phone and call a stranger. I would rather call a stranger than call my sphere of influence, because if a stranger cusses me out and hangs up on me, okay, I don't know them. I'll never talk to them again. So what? Like, it's them and I hit the button and go to the next number. But that's me. And it may not be you, and it may not be the agent to the left of you, kind of a thing. So people have to find what works for them, what they're comfortable in, and do that, pour into that. I don't believe that you can have just one thing. I think you need 3, maybe up to 5 things that you do. But if you pick 3 to 5 things and you can do them well, you can be very successful in this business. And it doesn't even have to be what you would traditionally think of as lead generating. In the last 4 months, have become absolutely addicted to playing pickleball. I want to play pickleball 5, 6 days, 7 days a week. I have already, in that 4 months, I have already met probably about 10 people that I've becoming close with. One of them, actually 2 of them, have already reached out to me for business. That wasn't the reason I started playing. It's not the reason I will continue to play. And just naturally, it's going to happen. Business is going to come from that naturally, talking to people, meeting people, interacting with people. So it doesn't have to be picking up the phone. It doesn't have to be having a client event necessarily. It can be, playing tennis. It can be having a book club. It can be kind of anything that you're into that you think other people would be into. And just like with pickleball. So pickleball gives me a reason to call people that I wouldn't normally want to call, because when I first started this world, I didn't want to be the guy to where when people saw my name on their caller ID, they just thought, oh shit, there's Jason calling about real estate again. So I've always had a mental block around calling my sphere of influence. However, if I'm calling them to say, hey, I'm addicted to pickleball, do you play? And if not, who do you know that plays? Like, I'm trying to get this group together to go play every Tuesday at 5 o'clock or whatever that day and time and location would be. And then, naturally, they're going to ask how you're doing, or you can ask them how they're doing, and then they'll reciprocate and ask you. So the conversation can and naturally lead into real estate, and it doesn't have to. Even if you don't talk about real estate, you're still connecting with a person that remembers your name. And if they have your name in their phone, they most likely know that you sell real estate. So it'll all come back together. So that's what I would say, is just find your thing and do it.
Right. I mean, two things I could be doing right now, just to throw out a couple more examples. I own a Jeep. There's a bazillion Jeep clubs out there I could get involved in. I like to hike. There's a group that hikes Oak Mountain every single week that I could get involved with. So, that's such an important point, especially like we were talking about, if the Meetup app, that might scare the shit out of you. But, all you got to do is, if you like cooking, get involved in some cooking groups and do something. It's going to help if you do something you naturally enjoy. The other thing I was going to comment on is that I actually had a team member once. This was back when we were heavily phone prospecting based. Now we're me personally, much more relationship based. But he was at Auburn. While he was at Auburn, he called alumni to ask for money. Just called alumni and asked for money. That was his job every single week while he was a student at Auburn. That's how he helped put himself through school. And when he got out and got into real estate, he could not pick up the damn phone. And I was like, what the hell is happening? This guy should be a freaking phenom in real estate. All right. Question number 2. What are the top 3 characteristics that you've observed among most productive agents as a newbie? So when you started in Tuscaloosa, I'm sure you were observing top agents going, hey, what are they doing? What are they doing that I could do? Yeah. What was your experience there?
So there was an agent in Tuscaloosa that was in the office that my first year in real estate, he was, I think, the number 5 or number 6 agent in the entire board. And I really looked up to him, and he just showed up every day. I think is one of the most important things you can do. If you're with a brokerage that doesn't have physical office, you need to get some sort of office space at like one of these like WeWorks or, some sort of common area space where you can show up and be around other people. If you're with a brokerage that does have an office, just show up. I think you can learn a lot via osmosis that way, but just pounding the phone. And if you think of every phone call that you're making as a potential $5,000 check, I think that can motivate you to at least pick up the phone and call someone. Now, if you're scared to call, a cold call, that's fine. Call somebody you know. And like I said earlier, it may not be around real estate. It can be around pickleball or book club or cooking or whatever. But picking up the phone and having a conversation. One of the exercises that I did, a couple of the exercises I did too, when I was a productivity coach, one was the back of my business card is just white with like lines, like a notebook piece of paper. And this is a rip off and duplicate thing. So I write a 7 and circle it at the top of every single card. And I would walk through Target, the grocery store, the mall, and I would say, hey, we're having a competition at the office. If it's early in the morning, I would say, I can't go into the office until I have 10 people give me their contact information. And you're number 7. Would you be willing to help me? Psychologically, 7 is you've gotten 6 other people to commit, but you're not at number 9. If you're 9, I can tell you no, and you'll get somebody else. But if you're 7, it's like, okay, they need a couple of more people to get to their goal, so I'm going to help you. The only time I ever had any pushback, and I recognized it very quickly, it was in Target. There was a young single, well, I don't know if she was married, but like a young girl by herself with a young child. And I could kind of see her kind of push back. And I was just like, hey, here's what I'm doing. And she wasn't interested, and that's fine. But most people were fine with having the conversation. The other thing I did, and you can do this in your own neighborhood, you can do it in a neighborhood you want to farm, And you can basically do it all year long. You can either, and it's door knocking, you can door knock around, we're wanting to restock the food pantry with a canned food drive. We're wanting to collect things for a natural disaster relief. So if there's a tornado, hurricane, something like that, you get those type of items. And it's a multi-pronged approach. The first knock is just, hey, we're doing this. Do you want to participate? The second is obviously getting their contact information and if they're willing, okay, great. We're going to collect things next Thursday or Friday. I'll call and let you know. So when you do have that date that you're going to do it, call and let them know, hey, we're going to come collect stuff on Thursday. You know, you don't have to be home. You can just leave it on your front porch in a bag. I'll get it. Thank you so much. Then the third call is after you've collected the things and after you've turned in whatever, it's calling them back and thanking them. Hey, just wanted to call and let you know we raised 400 pounds of canned food for the local food bank. Thank you so much. And by the way, since I've got you on the phone, you've seen how we like to help our community. Do you know anyone else that I can help in real estate? So by the time you've made 3 contacts with them, you're not a stranger. You're not someone that's just asking for something on the first meet. And you can do that year round. You can restock the food pantry. You can, like I said, the natural disasters. I mean, you can do this year round. You can do it in every neighborhood that you want to walk through, and you're asking for someone to help someone else. And then you go back and ask for their help in helping you. That approach, I mean, you've got their address, you've got their name, you've got their phone number, you've got their email address. So you've got 4 pieces of contact information, and you put them in your database and you market to them then.
And it blows my mind, that because I'll tell people, I'll say, just text your sphere of influence and go, hey, was thinking about you today. You and the family doing good. How are you and the wife doing? How are you and the wife and the kids doing? I mean, and they just won't do that. During the pandemic, I was encouraging agents. Back during the pandemic, I had, like 130 agents under me, that I was in charge of, and I was encouraging them all. I was like, this is perfect. Reach out to everybody. Go serve your face off. Cook casseroles. Yeah. Check in on people's health. Some people are scared to go outside. Go talk to them through the window. Just do something. Yeah. And they wouldn't do it. It was the most frustrating thing ever. All right, question number 3. What are the 3 things, in your opinion, agents should be doing daily to foster productivity?
The first thing, I'm a big believer in AI. You need to be learning some form of artificial intelligence. ChatGPT is kind of the gold standard right now. Google Gemini, I think, is coming along. Google's video generating engine and graphics generating engine is already stupid good. Like scary, stupid good. To get to the video generator, it's costly. It's like $250 a month. And it's dang near like Hollywood quality output. It's scary good already. And it's only going to get better. Perplexity is another large language model that I think is not going away. Claude is another one that's not going away. Then you've got a bunch of like little spinoffs. You've got AI chatbots, you've got graphic design stuff that's a lot better than anything I described there. But you need to learn something. It is not, artificial intelligence is not going away. It is only getting better dang near every day. And I don't believe that artificial intelligence will take a real estate agent's job. I think at some point in the future, probably sooner rather than later, human connection will be a form of currency. I do, however, believe that the agent that embraces artificial intelligence will take the agent's job that does not embrace artificial intelligence. I have 3 examples right now sitting here today of where artificial intelligence has gotten me business. I used Follow Up Boss. I used ChatGPT to create a 50-touch program for leads that come in through various lead sources for me. I had a lead that came in. I never spoke to this person. I put them on the drip. Part of that drip had my Calendly link in it. This person set their own listing appointment before I ever talked to them.
Wow.
And it was on a weekend, and I hadn't checked my email that day, and I just happened to see her respond back and said, "Hey, the confirmation said 3:00, but I wanted to make sure we're meeting at 2:00." So I looked at my calendar, saw that it was for 2:00, and I just responded back, yeah, it's 2:00. I'll see you Sunday at 2:00. It turned into an $875,000 listing, which I'm going to have under contract probably today. One of the two listings that I'm meeting to solicit today, I created my own like AI, they're called AI agent. Think of it as like a chat bot kind of a thing, where it sends out every day, it sends out emails. I've got, like I said, Follow Up Boss, I've got roughly 4,000 cold leads in Follow Up Boss. So every morning at 8:00, it sends out 25 emails. And it says, hey, this is Alex, Jason's assistant. He asked me to just check in on you to see if you had any questions about the market or if there was anything I could do to help you. Well, the 5:30 appointment this evening is from that. Like, I had never spoken to this person a day of my life. She came up in rotation in that email drip, and she responded back, yes, as a matter of fact, I'm looking for a real estate agent right now. We're looking to buy a house. Well, she's got a house to sell. So that's going to be a buy sell off of my AI agent. I'm also showing two houses in Gardendale on Wednesday. Same thing. I've never spoken to this person. They got hit on the AI agent outreach. And yeah, I'm actually looking to buy now. And I look back, both of these leads have come into, one came in through just a Google, either like a Google local service ad or just found me somehow through Google. The other was through a lead generating platform that I subscribe to. But neither of those would have ever been in my universe, really, had I not had this drip going. So it's 25 a day, 5 days a week, and it's free. So that's all through AI. I don't touch it. I don't touch it. I have it coded to do what it needs to do every day, but I don't touch it. And I just know that when they respond, it will go into my Follow-Up Boss. So I'm pretty terrible about checking email. And I just go to my Follow-Up Boss inbox and I can see who's responded to those outreach emails.
Man, that's insane. I mean, I think agents should be thinking about this as leverage, obviously, but it's like this isn't an assistant that you're not paying.
Yes. Right. And I'm right. My thing that I'm exploring right now are like AI voice bots. I right now currently employ an ISA out of the Philippines. He cold calls for me 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. I get a lot of, missed calls, and those people call back. Well, I don't know who he's calling, under what pretense. So I typically don't answer those calls when they do, because it goes through my Google Voice number. I just know that's who's calling me because I have it set up to show that information. But if I had this AI bot, it could answer the phone. It could qualify the lead or disqualify the lead, set the appointment. It could do so much. It could handle objections, set the appointment, have the contact information, the address, have everything, and then I would just get an email summarizing the conversation, so that then I follow back up with them and go, hey, it looks like we're meeting, Thursday at 3:30. Hey, have you done anything to the house? Or I could even train the bot to ask, have you done any upgrades to the house? Like, what's changed since you bought it? So then I could basically just show up, give my little spiel, and have them sign, and I've not done anything. That's what's going to change this business and a lot of businesses.
Interesting. Well, is that also your answer to question 4 about the simplest thing you're doing that's yielding the biggest reward?
Yeah, right now it is. Yeah.
Well,
like I said, I'm about to have an $875,000 listing under contract, and I didn't talk to them until I met with them. And I told them, that was one of the things, other than, the clients hire us. They don't hire a sign. They don't hire, a name behind that sign. They hire our personalities. And one thing that these people just absolutely ate up was the fact that I've embraced artificial intelligence and use that in my marketing and use that in my advertising of their properties. I've got ads for the single. It's a unique property. It's on 18 acres. It's been a completely redone house. It's a beautiful property. I used artificial intelligence to figure out feeder patterns into Birmingham for people that may be interested in this type of property. And then we use that for targeted ads. And when I told them that, like, you could almost see their jaw hit the ground. I mean, they were just blown away that A, could do that, and B, do that. So
I'm thinking about something simple too, because what you're talking about right now is going to blow agents' minds. They're going to be like, "What the fudge is he's got? I mean, what is he talking about? I don't know where to get started." But a place you can get started, because I've had a number of agents tell me this. I go, "Why aren't you more visible online? Why aren't you posting more on social?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm fine at," because some agents are terrible about taking pictures or shooting video, but the ones that aren't, that still aren't consistent on social, they're like, "I just don't know what to say." And I'm like, "Go ask ChatGPT." And now they're like posting like crazy. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not creative for anything. I'm an analytical person. I eat up numbers and data. I'm a news junkie. I'm not creative. So ChatGPT is my creative outlet. I've trained it. I've created my own GPT, and I've trained it to give me output in a style and manner that I want. So then I just go to it and say, okay, I need this done. And it gives it to me how I want it to. And I don't know where I would be without it at this point. It's just, I've been on GPT for about 2 years, probably a little more than 2 years at this point. And just the leaps and bounds in advancement that it's made, it's been crazy. But it's never too late. Too. I want people to hear me say this. Yes, artificial intelligence has made leaps and bounds in advancement, and it's never too late to start learning it.
Well, let me see, I'm a little bit behind the eight ball here, but as you were talking, I was trying to look this up because the Realtor conference at the Grand Hotel, I'm typing this into freaking Google right now. There are AI classes. So the annual Alabama Realtors annual conference, Point Clear 2025. There's some AI classes, brand to expand, AI powered strategies for personal branding. So just putting a plug in there for that. I know, for me at least, going to events like that was super helpful to getting me into a space where I could be productive. All right. Now, time for my favorite question of the morning. Well, first of all, how long have you been doing these kind of comedic videos? Or what do you call them?
That's a great question. It's kind of corny house touring videos, but it's not the welcome to 133 Main Street where we have blah, 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 blah. It's not that. It's basically it's a shtick where I almost insult the viewer, like, you can never afford this, or, that kind of a thing. So I've been doing it probably about 2.5, 3 months or so. And hard confession is I haven't done one recently because I've been so dang busy lately, and I need to do that again because A, they're fun, and B, I've had so many people come up to me like in real life and go, "Dude, your videos are hilarious. Please keep doing those." So I started doing them. I saw I'd go down TikTok rabbit holes. I'm addicted to TikTok as well. And there was an agent down in Florida that she is funny as crap, but she's pretty brash. And I did not feel like I could rip off and duplicate that entirely.
She talks about her mom's bush.
Right. I'm not going to get on camera and talk about anybody's stuff. So I took the videos. Fortunately, she was the creator that allowed you to download the videos. And I uploaded 3 of her videos into ChatGPT and basically constructed my own version of what she's doing. It took a while it took probably a day and a half of our conversation back and forth with GPT to really train it to what I was trying to get out of it. And it's gotten to the point now where I've trained it. So all I have to do now, when I first started doing it, I would go upload 10 pictures of the property in question and say, create a script around 123 Main Street. Now, with the search capability being so much better with GPT, I just give it an address and say, okay, create a script for 456 Main Street. And it searches. I've got it to search Zillow, Homes, Realtor, and pull the pictures from that analyze them, and then give me the script. So I can basically do that on the fly. If I'm out in the field and see a house that I know is vacant, I can go, okay, well, there. I carry my tripod with me everywhere. I've got my little mic thing set up in my car at all charged at all times in my car. So I can literally just drive down the road, see a vacant house, and go do it. And it's just fun, man. I can do a whole house in probably 15 minutes. I edit the thing in CapCut, which is, there's a free version, but I pay the $7 a month version, and edit it in CapCut, upload it to TikTok, upload it to YouTube and Facebook under my business channel. And then I'll share I won't share all of them, but I'll share every so often to my personal, just to hit a wider range of people.
Yeah, I mean, I just wouldn't be surprised if 3 more months from now, 4 more months from now, 6 more months from now, if this is not huge. Like, you've got people calling you to list their houses because they want this video. Not sure where I was, but I think I was on TikTok, and I was scrolling through, and I actually, sometimes the algorithm for me will go on like real estate training content and topics, things like that. And there was a guy, I'm not sure who he was, but he looked like he was important, but he was talking about how he was referencing Tampa Bree. And he was saying, this is how you sell houses in 2025 moving forward. There's been such a shift in, I don't know if it's just consumer activity, if it's algorithm response to consumer activity. I'm sure it's a combination of those two. But social media has gotten to be, I've heard Gary Vaynerchuk say this many times here recently, that it's become interest media. And people are interested in being entertained above all else. I mean, I think, I definitely do not want to get on politics right now, but, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, you're probably like, shit is fucked up right now. And, the best medicine for any of anxiety, depression is laughter. Yeah. So it's just huge. The other thing that struck me is that I did not know going into this call how big of a role AI was playing in this new initiative of yours. But now that I know it, what's mind-blowing is how well it is creating these scripts, because it sounds like you. I mean, It's just you, but it's not you.
Right. Well, and that's why it took about a day and a half, because
you have to tell it who you are, right? You have to tell it.
Right. GPT knows. So that's another thing that's changed with GPT. It now remembers everything that you've ever told it from every conversation. It used to be, it would only remember everything in the chat that you're in. So if you had a chat about your video here and a chat about, your pasta recipe here, it would compartmentalize those things. Now it's everything. So it knows that you've got this great chili recipe and you do these stupid videos about real estate. So telling it the kind of output I wanted, and semi recently, I even told it, I was like, okay, I want to kick it up a notch. Like, I still don't, obviously can't violate fair housing. I don't ever want to demean the property that I'm in, but like, let's kick it up a notch. Let's get a little more. Let's push the envelope a little more. And so it started putting some stuff out. I was like, what do you think about this? And I was like, yeah, I like this one and this one, but I don't like these 3. So let's do something else.